a goal that a lot of people have when starting their fat loss journeys. They want to get to a point where they have a visible six pack and they're walking around lean and shredded. They still have the muscle mass, the fat's falling off, so they're exposing all the muscle that's on them and they have a nice physique. But in order to get to that point, we have to burn body fat and not muscle mass. In today's video, I'm discussing the 4 big moves that I found that how we can burn body fat without burning muscle and sacrificing muscle gains. If you don't know who I am, my name is Jonathan. I went from 250 to 177. I took my gut into a six pack, and I'm somebody even in the dead of the winter who's walking around right now with a six pack. So without further ado, I'm gonna hop right into it. These major 4 moves are what's gonna be a game changer for your physique. I'm gonna start with this though. I'm gonna start talking about the main premise of fat loss, and it comes down to this. So if you're new here, it comes down to this main premise for fat loss. Fat loss only happens through calories by tracking what we eat, so eating less than maintenance, so the food that we eat on a daily basis. Our macros, which is the type of food we eat, which is the proteins, the fats, and the carbs. And then the activity that we do, that could be the walking, the activity that we do in the gym. And if you notice, I put that last because the main building block of fat loss is going to be the calories and the macros that we put into our body. If we don't get the first 2 right, the bottom portion, the activity, is really not going to be that beneficial. So I have to say that because, again, if anybody on the internet's telling you anything other than that, they're probably lying to you, and that's not what this is about. I didn't lose 70 pounds by just going to the gym. I really lost the bulk of it by the calories and the macros, and the gym was just a supplement to that. So getting to the 4 moves that's going to help us burn the body fat and maintain muscle. Move number 1, major move number 1, and I've talked about this in all my other videos, is high protein. Protein is the mother of anything related to muscle. You're talking about muscle, you can't talk about muscle without talking about protein. They both go hand in hand. So you want to make sure that if we're approaching fat loss and we want to have a lean, shredded physique, we want our abs to show, we want, muscle definition, that we're getting a sufficient amount of protein to maintain muscle mass. So you can go to the gym all you want to. You can be in a caloric deficit all you want to. But if we're not getting enough protein, we have nothing to really fuel our body, okay? You can't drive a car on empty gas, you get what I mean? You can't put regular gas inside of a semi-truck, you get what I mean? So semi-truck needs diesel fuel. Your body is going to need certain things to fuel it to get the result that you need, right? So that result is going to be high protein. What we need is going to be a higher protein. Now, if you're new, you may not know. You say, okay, Jonathan, I don't know how much protein I need. Cool. So what I did in the beginning, when I was 250, I went to bodybuilding.com. And I don't know if that website's still around, but there's other websites you can look up, get a protein calculator or whatever. You can look it up. There's apps now. And I looked up how much protein do I need to maintain muscle mass, build muscle, whatever. And it gave me a number. I typically just added 30 to 40 grams to it just to be safe, and kind of base my thing off that. Now, if you still don't know, the range that I use was anywhere from 160 to 225. Ideal target range though, 185, 215. I'm 5'11". I was 250 back then, so if you are around that, you can use 185 to 215. If you're taller, you can just up the protein amount. But what I'm saying is that high protein is what's going to fuel the body for the result that we want to get, okay? That's big move number 1, is make sure the protein thing, that we're getting enough protein. And I have a warning to the people. I see the comments, and I'm proud of everybody who already had progress. But this is my warning to directly to the people who have already lost 20 to 30 pounds already and still have more to go. This is my direct warning to you. I want you to be very careful because you guys are more at risk than the people starting off. I'm saying this because this was me. This is real. This was me. When I was 250 and I got down to like the 180, what's this, the 180-ish? I want to say like low 190s, high 180s. Let me tell y'all why this is dangerous and why it's dangerous for y'all. You can get to a point where you feel like you think you know what you're doing already. You lost 25 pounds, congratulations. You feel like you think you know what you're doing already. So what we do, we stop tracking. We like, okay, I kind of know I'm eating the same thing every day. Cool, this is that. But see, what starts to happen is life starts to throw stuff at you. You start to get busy. You stop tracking. And then eventually, like, you'll still be in a caloric deficit, kind of, but then the protein intake won't be there. You a couple days where you slip up, then you'll stop tracking altogether. Your activity staying the same, and then you're in a caloric deficit, but you're missing the tracking on the macronutrient, which is that protein. And what's going to happen is the scale's going to go down. You're losing body fat and you're losing muscle at this point. This was me. This is something that happened to me, and this is why I'm making these videos now, because I had to learn the hard way. And I'm like, what's going on? Well, the thing is, the scale's going down. I'm losing just tissue, fat tissue and muscle tissue, because I'm not tracking the protein. If you don't track the protein, it's just as important as tracking the calories, because you want to make sure you still feel in your workouts in the gym. You want to make sure you still feel in your muscle mass. Okay, so that's my warning to the people who are already getting progress. Don't get relaxed now because you lost the bulk of the weight already. Okay, this is where you're getting closer to your lean body mass. You really need to lock in and really need to make sure you're getting that protein, and you really need to watch your calories. You know what I mean? You already got a rhythm already, and this is where it can get dangerous, because in the military, they taught us never get complacent, because that's when you get hit. That's when the enemy attacks you, when you 6 months in and nothing's happened, and then 7th month is in, that's when you get attacked. Okay, so you always want to be on your A game at all times, and we do this by having high protein. Big move number 2 is going to be a caloric deficit. We want to still make sure we're in a caloric deficit. So for the people who are in the beginning phases or whatever, but like I said, in order to burn any type of body fat, we need to consume less than our maintenance. Okay, so if our maintenance is 2,500, we need to be consuming like 2,000. You get what I mean? We're in a caloric deficit, but we're still getting enough protein. Okay, that's the main. Again, I noticed the first two things I talked about were food related. Okay, the first two things I talked about were food related, protein, and then we want to track our calories and make sure we're in a caloric deficit. Big move number 3 is make sure our activity in the gym that we're doing compound lifts. Now, if you've watched any of my other videos, always champion compound lifts. That's going to be your squats, your deadlifts, your bent over row, your bench press, your standing military press. Those work multiple muscle groups, and they honestly, in my opinion, fill out your physique the best. They work multiple muscle groups. You can overload them better, so which means you can make them more difficult by doing more reps on them or adding more weight. And they just fill out your physique better. They engage your core because they're free weight motions. They engage your core, and you just build better strength with them. Now, I'm not exclusively just saying that you only need to do barbell compound lifts, Smith machines, and I do use machines as well too. But just in my opinion, compound lifts are going to be the best thing. Now, with these, I typically go for a full body workout, and I typically go for reps. When I say reps, I mean between 8 to 12 reps. Now, the reason why I have this in here to maintain the muscle mass is, one, we can add heavier weight, we can increase the reps, but I'm gonna jump down to big move number 4 because they kind of tie hand in hand. It's okay occasionally to kind of throw some more weight on the bar and lift heavier, because if we're just trying to still maintain muscle mass, and this may not be science backed or not, but if we're still trying to maintain muscle mass, it's still good to still test the heavy lifts on the compound movement. So, if you was pulling, 4 plates off the bar, off the ground for deadlifts, then, doing that twice a month would still be good to, make sure you're still maintaining your strength. If you were squatting 400 pounds, you doing it twice a month is still good to see if you're still maintaining your strength. So, still hitting those heavy lifts. If you guys are still doing that. Now, if you're not that strong, that's fine, because I'm not that strong. It's cool. You know what I mean? That's why I go for reps. But, what I'm saying is that you really want to progressively overload your workouts, like make them more difficult by adding more reps, increasing the weight, doing things like that, while still being in a calorie deficit and getting enough protein. Now, I will tell you this. This is a little tidbit for if you guys are really active in the gym and trying to cut down on the calories. Your energy is going to be a little bit different, okay? So this is why I like the compound lifts, because if you were doing like bicep curls, you're better off doing pull-ups or bent over rows. You get more out of the workout, and then sometimes you just won't have the energy, just won't be there, just because like we're operating off less gasoline. Essentially, we're operating off less gasoline, so we got to make sure that this is why we have to be locked in. We got to make sure our protein's there. We got to make sure we're doing the proper lifts to maintain all these things. But if you guys do these big 4 moves, which is the calories, getting enough protein, doing the compound lifts, you guys will see a result. And I almost didn't mention this with the walking as well too. Y'all know me. walking is a big thing that's going to help aid in the fat burning process with the caloric deficit. Walking is not strenuous on the muscles. I do not recommend anybody be running, doing interval sprints, none of that stuff. You want to walk, you want a low impact cardio. If you want to burn fat and maintain muscle mass, you want low impact cardio, something that is easy. Something that is easy. You get what I mean? Because most of the work for fat loss is being done outside of the gym, not in the gym anyways. I'm being real with you. So people keep showing you, oh, do this workout to burn body fat. They lying. Because the only way you burn body fat is by being in caloric deficit. Okay, they doing that for clicks. And it's fine, it works. You know what I mean? There's fat burning exercises, is cool. But again, most of your focus needs to be on high protein, calorie deficit. And if you want to hit these compound lifts, progressive, I say like twice a month or whatever, you want to overload them and still make sure you can lift heavy or try to lift heavier. It's okay to do that as well too. So guys, apply these tips, and I hope that you guys are crushing your goals going into the new year, new month, new week, and I hope to see some good results out of you guys. All right, peace.